Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you sort of my version of a Spanish tortilla, which is really like, think of it like a potato frittata almost. It's really easy to make. By no means is this authentic, but it is really delicious, and I was inspired by one of my favorite tapas restaurants in Philly, so I figured I had to recreate it and share it with you, and I think it's absolutely to die for delicious. And the ingredients are very basic, but this is sort of my attempt. And you're gonna need some chopped onion, some potatoes, which I'll talk about in a minute. I've got some shredded Monterey Jack and cheddar, which I know it's not authentic, but it is delicious here. Some chopped up parsley and some chives, a little bit of smoked paprika. You'll need some eggs, salt and pepper, and olive oil. Now, traditionally, you'll use sliced potatoes, and you make sure that they're paper thin, which I think makes things a little bit complicated. I have seen it made with cubed potatoes, which is how I like to make it, so that's what I'm going with today. Now what I like to do is I've just taken these 4 potatoes, and these are rather small. I put them in some cold water in a pan, brought it up to a boil, and boiled them for 5 minutes. I took them out and I let them cool completely. They're not even halfway cooked through, but they're about 1/3 of the way cooked through, and that makes the cooking a lot more evenly in my opinion, and it makes it so that I don't have to add a lot of oil to my skillet. Speaking of skillet, I've got my skillet here with some olive oil in there. You'll need about 3 to 4 tablespoons for the whole thing. So I've got that preheating in there over about medium heat. In the meantime, I'm just going to use my knife. This is a knife I chopped up my herbs with. I'm going to use my knife, and I'm just going to cut this probably in bite-sized pieces like so. Like I said, traditionally you slice your potatoes really thinly, but I don't think it really makes a difference. But if that's what you prefer, by all means go for it. I'm just going to dice these up and get them in the skillet. I'm going to add my onions. My oil is not really hot yet, and that's fine. I want to add my onions and my potatoes in there at the same time, and I just want to cook this over about medium heat. This will cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. The potatoes need to be tender. They need to be cooked pretty much all the way through, because this is the only chance you have to cook the potatoes themselves. So give them time, stir them around. That olive oil is going to coat them really well. Make sure nothing sticks, and let them cook for about 15 minutes or so. This just thrills me. Okay, these took about, I would say, a little over 15 minutes. It's going to vary how long it takes depending on how long your potatoes need to cook. I'm just going to season these with some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to hit them with just a little tiny bit of paprika. You don't have to do that, but I just like it because it gives you like a little bit of a smoky flavor. Just a little bit goes a long way. Give everything a good stir. Gonna season my eggs with a little bit of salt and pepper, and I also have my broiler preheated, and I have that ready because I'm gonna use it to broil the top, so I don't have to flip this around, because it can be quite intimidating to flip over a frittata or anything with that matter. Just whisk your eggs. Add them right in, and what you're going to do is, I'm going to just turn this up a little tiny bit. What you're going to do for a good like solid minute or two is, you can see I'm kind of pushing the eggs throughout the entire potato mixture. That's important because I want to make sure it's a nice, even omelet, frittata, tortilla, whatever you want to call this. And just do this for a couple of minutes, and then what I want you to do is, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lid on this, because I feel like it just cooks really evenly that way. And I'm going to cook this until it's about 3/4 of the way cooked through, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. It'll take about 10 minutes or so depending on the heat level. I'm going to leave this on about medium heat because I do want to create quite a good crust underneath of this, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's there. This is looking fantastic. I want to see if I can show you what underneath looks like. Can you start to see the color? I'll share that with you when we flip it out. Well, more like we slide it out. I'm going to put my cheese on top. You don't have to do the cheese thing if you don't want to. I mean, really, when it comes to eggs, gotta have a little bit of queso. I need some cheese. It's what makes the world go round. Now I'm going to pop this under the broiler. It makes for such an easy life. I'm going to pop this under the broiler until the top is a really deeply golden brown. I don't want just the cheese to be melted. I almost want it to be like a crust. So I'm going to pop it under there, let it cool for a little bit, and then we'll serve it. Look at that gorgeousness. That only took a few minutes under the broiler, but that's exactly what I am looking for. And then I just like to mix together the parsley and the chives for a little freshness, a little greenness. I need to cut into this baby. It sounds amazing. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Can you see the inside? The potatoes, you can see they're fluffy and perfectly cooked. I love that I can see the caramelized onions throughout the whole thing. And it is not dry looking at all. It is just perfectly cooked. I'm going to go for the corner because it's got a little bit of that caramelized piece from the, you know, that cheese on top. Boy, does that smell good. It's hot though. Really hot. That is too good for words. Clearly, I can't even hold it. That is money. The onions come through, but they're sweet. The potatoes are fully cooked. That cheese is just that extra layer of salty goodness on top. It is perfection. Do give it a try. It's also a really inexpensive way to feed a family of 4. If you do 4 nice big wedges with a little side salad on the side, you'd be good to go. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. Go to laurainthekitchen.com and we'll have the entire recipe ready and waiting for you. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you next time. Bye!